What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys all had an amazing trading day, but I'm going to go ahead and break down my trades and let you guys know exactly how it went for me today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as you guys can see from the screen, it was a red day overall on my account, right? Down over $700 on the day. And a big, reason for that was Tesla did lose over $500 for me on the day, right? Due to my swing trades. And not only Tesla, right, but my other swing trades as well, which are, focused on the NASDAQ itself, right? They didn't do so hot either, and it makes sense, right? Just looking at the charts, you can see that the overall NASDAQ was selling off all day today. As far as how I did day trading wise, I did trade both SQQQ and TQQQ. I made $90 on SQs, $10 on TQs, right? So I hit my $100 daily goal using $10,000. And so for all of you wondering, these are all my filled orders. You guys can see when I was buying and when I was selling. And so I'm going to go ahead and explain to you guys, my thought process for the day. But as far as what I saw going on the larger time frames, right? As I mentioned in yesterday's video, we have been experiencing, some pretty hard or some pretty solid resistance and support areas, right? Just looking at the chart on the larger time frame, right? The past 20 days, you guys can see that once we started to trade in between this range here, right? We're very clearly indicating signs of a support right around where I drew the support line, right? And as it pushes up, it becomes overextended and tends to get rejected right around this resistance line where I drew, right? Doesn't mean it has to, but if something did get rejected in the past, then that's definitely something we might want to pay attention to, right? When we do see it potentially approaching those levels in the future. And so today, that's pretty much what my game plan was, right? I was going to see whether or not we're going to push past this resistance that we've been experiencing, right? And we could see buying pressure and continue to climb and test, the previous resistance levels that we did have at 16,060, right? Or if we were going to validate this area as a resistance and start to sell off and, make our way back down to the previous support area. So that was my game plan for the day. And just based off of how it was trading during the pre-market session, right, it gave me some indication that this thing was, validating a potential resistance. As you guys can see, once it did break above the middle VWAP, it really struggled to hold and started to sell off and form these lower highs and lower lows. You guys see what I mean? And as soon as the market opened, this thing started to continue to sell off. And so I wanted to go with current direction, right? And so that's why I got in lightly into SQQQ and I let it really run until, we were approaching this previous support area. That's where I decided to lock in my trade on SQQQ because I didn't know if we were actually going to break below the support, right? We could have, for all I know, just bounced where it previously did, and we could have continued to uptrend, right? But once I saw this thing start to bounce here, that's when I did take a small position on TQQQ. And as it did bounce, I did cut the trade because anytime it broke above the EMA, as you guys can see, it really struggled to hold. And I noticed that during the pre-market session as well. So once we did break above the EMA, right, I just locked in my trade there. Just a small, quick trade, right? In and out, $10. And once I did see it start to sell off and break previous support areas, right, where it did try to test a possible bounce, that's when I got, very heavy into SQQQ for my last trade, and I ended up locking in profits right around this area, I believe, right? My last trade should have been, right around 7:10 in the morning. And so on this last little push down here is the last trade I did end up taking on SQQQ. I sized up once I saw this thing break support and the selling pressure came, right? And I locked in my trade there, and I walked away from that point on. There was obviously a lot more money to be made. As you guys can see, the pattern continued to stay relevant, right? Anytime it would bounce, it would break above the EMA and it wouldn't hold very well. As you guys can see, it would push up, slightly break above it, and then continue to sell off and form these lower lows and lower highs. And so, congrats for those of you who are able to make money on SQQQ today, right? It's definitely a really nice day when, direction's just in your favor. And man, were the bears out today, right? This thing was just tanking. And so for those of you who are able to take advantage of that, then, props to you. But for those of you who tried getting into TQQQ predicting a possible reversal, there's lessons to be learned today as well, right? Of maybe trying to stay more patient until true confirmation is showing this thing uptrending, right? Rather than it just descending, right? We want to throw our money in stuff that's growing in value, not just, losing its value. But in this case, as the Nasdaq falls, SQQQ goes up, right? As you guys can see for yourself. So that's why there's always money to be made in the market, right, on the way up or down, which is, you know, always nice. But that's pretty much everything I did want to discuss in today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I do apologize for not posting yesterday. I was too busy pretty much all day and I didn't even have time to trade. But, you know, I do plan on posting a recap tomorrow. So I hope to see you guys then. Other than that, if you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and drop a comment and I will be more than happy to answer that. But thank you guys so much. Take care. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.